What is the difference between a freehold and a leasehold title? Let's start with the leasehold title. On a leasehold title, you basically own it for a particular number of years, maybe 99 years or 945 years, depending on the day you start from. On this kind of a title, you basically pay rates at the county government because these are lands that are within the municipality. So you basically pay an annual rate. So you basically need to register for rates to be able to pay rates in an annual level. You also pay for ground rent. This is basically the rent you pay from the leasee, that's the government of Kenya. And most of the counties do maintain a valuation rule on this kind of a title. So at least in each year, they issue the invoice to be to pay the rates. So why is it a leasehold title? Because it defines different uses, different usage of this particular piece of land. When it comes to the freehold title, we are looking at an absolute ownership. You basically own this piece of land forever. This title could be on agricultural land, it could be on community land, it could also be on public land. So you basically own it forever unless you make a change to its use so that it become a leasehold. So on this title, you're basically looking at the colonial ownership of piece of lands which were agricultural in nature, and their uses basically agriculture. Of course, it is good to know that some of the lands that are within the municipality were freehold in nature. So over time, this is changing in terms of the use because we're having agricultural land changing into residential areas, into industrial areas. So basically, this kind of ownership is changing, and it's changing from absolute ownership, that is the freehold title, to basically the leasehold type of ownership. So what are the critical things that you need to know? Is that as you buy a piece of land, you need to establish whether that title is freehold or the leasehold, so that because this defines the kind of a use you're able to use of this piece of land. You need to establish it as a freehold or a leasehold because this will impact on the kind of rates that you pay in different kind of counties. It will also define the number of years you'll be able to own this piece of land when it is kind of when it is in the leasehold format. In both, you need to pay ground rent, so you may need to establish whether the previous owner, as you buy this piece of land, are paying the ground rent, so at least you don't take up a burden of that kind of a piece of land. On the leasehold title, you also need to establish whether the previous owner was paying rates in the county government, so that you're able to to be able to know whether they have any arrears. So I would invite you, like this page, do follow Gerard on TikTok, on Facebook, so that we're able to make more of these videos and educate the general public. See you in